All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. It is Monday morning, and it is also day nine. Day nine. Yesterday was day 8. Today is day 9 of our 21 days of practice or 21 days of gratitude initiative, where we have been starting each day with a morning yoga and movement and gratitude practice. So, a yoga and movement practice infused with gratitude. We will begin today in a comfortable seat. I like to have a blanket. So if you have a blanket or if you have a pillow that's a little flattened out, that can work too, because we also want it to be a cushion for our knees whenever we may come to a kneeling position or to an all fours shape. All right. So this is really all you need. The other thing that can come in handy during the practice is some yoga blocks, but I try not to use them too much because I know not everyone has it at home. So it's all right if you don't. Let's get started. I'm going to just center myself a little bit here. Beautiful. And if you've got water nearby, if you've got tea, if you've got a little bit of coffee, go ahead and take a little sip now as a little toast to your day. And let's get started. We're going to begin today in a comfortable seat. And as we arrive to our seat, if you want to get any little shrugs, any little quirks out of the way, let it out, shake it out. If it's comfortable, you might come to stillness when you're ready. You can close your eyes. Just take a breath in through the nose so you can hear the sound, feel the air traveling up the nostrils. As you exhale, feel free to let it out through the mouth. Something a little bit more audible this morning. Breathing in through the nose. An audible release. One more, just like that. Let it out. And then seal your lips. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Keep the breath now, if you can, in and out through the nose. Now we're going to give ourselves a little moment to count so that we are really tuned in with the length of the breath and if we can lengthen that breath a little bit more. So think about, let's try 4. We're going to breathe in a count of 4 and exhale a count of 4. And if you feel like that's too short or too long, adjust it appropriately as you need. It may be even 6. You might be able to inhale up to 6 or 7 seconds, all right? But let's just start with 4 and see how that goes. First, let's exhale. Empty everything out. Then breathe in for 4 seconds. Breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and exhale. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue on your own. Breathing in, a count of 4 or more. Breathing out, a count of 4 or more. Now let's start to move our hands with the breath. We no longer need to count, but we can invite the breath and movement to sort of tie along and dance together. Maybe inhaling as the arms come up. And exhaling as the arms lower. Inhale. Exhale and hold the arms down here as you breathe out so that you can keep the hands down. Breathe in. Exhale to lift the arms, switching the breath. Inhale, arms down. Exhale, lift the arms. Breathing in, arms down. We're just switching the breath, trying a little bit of both. Let's move our spine a little bit more. So the next time the arms lift up, right hand or left hand finds the floor. The right arm can reach up and over. Big old stretch. We'll take it over to the other side. And then one more time, let's add our cat-cow. So a little lateral bend with a forward and back rotation, forward and back flexion and extension of our spine. So there is a little thoracic rotation happening here. A little mini twist for the upper spine. Bringing in a little love, a little energy to the space around our heart. Our upper body gets a little warm up. When you get to the other side, let's do our baby cat-cow again, rounding your heart a little forward. And then let your heart take a little peek upward. Can your gaze also come up so that it's truly a rotation in the trunk and not just an arm and head movement? Make it about your spine. And then let's come up, finding a nice tall seat. Move your wrists around a couple of times. Wake them up a little bit. I like to do what I call wrist flowers, and that means that we're going to hold our fists, carefully opening them up as if they're blossoming open like flowers. Good, curl them in and make a fist, point the knuckles down. Open, make it a little faster so we warm up our hands. They're ready then to support us for the rest of the practice as we move into our hands and knees. Come on over. You might adjust your blanket or your knee support. And here, it's a nice little moment to greet the spine once more, lifting the tailbone, lifting the head, tucking the tail, tucking the chin last. And so really inviting this to be a controlled wave-like movement rather than just bending at the middle. Wonderful. Here, let's pause, finding a little stillness. Bend your left knee so that you can bring your left foot towards your bum and then lift your knee off the floor. Good. We're going to extend the knee, maybe flex the ankle, point and rebend. Getting a little action for our foot and our knee. And maybe a little hip circle here. The next time that you bend your knee, take your knee for a ride. Can you do a little circle in each direction? Maybe 2, maybe 3. Circle it around. Notice that your arms are holding the weight of your upper body. You've got this. Good. Now we're going to take the leg out to the side, a little perpendicular to where our trunk is facing. Your left hand is going to lift off the floor. The right hand stays. The left arm lifts up. Now, we did some rotations of the upper spine just a moment ago. Let's do it again here. We're going to let our hand grab this invisible, a piece of a cloud, because it's not very heavy. And then we're going to tuck and just look underneath the opposite arm. We're going to make this a flow. You're going to roll right back out, lift the arm, and then hug. Take a little scoop of air and take a look underneath the opposite armpit. Just making this a nice little flow. Beautiful. Last one. Now let's find both hands on the floor. The left foot will make its way back in, and we're going to take a moment to pause in a kneeling position. unloading the shoulders, unloading the hands, maybe giving them some little flickers to release the work that they just did. Before we continue, take a pause to reflect on how the breath has been moving so far. You might rest your hands over knees or thighs, lengthen the crown of the head by just kind of lengthening through the spine. And just notice your breath. Can you keep your lips sealed and let the breath move through the nose? That's an invitation. And a nice way to also check in with the breath is to place your hands on the sides of the waist. And breathe out until you can feel how your skin, how your body presses out into your hands and moves with each breath. Today we are reminded to hold gratitude for who you are. And so taking a moment, maybe even switching where you have your hands. Place one at your chest, place one at your belly. And feel your breath, your energy, holding gratitude for all that makes you who you are. Let's open the eyes. Come back to your tabletop position. Let's bend the right knee, bringing the right foot towards the bum, and lift the knee off the ground. The whole thigh bone is off the ground. So now here, we're going to again bend the knee, extend. Let's add a little ankle movement. Flex the ankle, bring it back. Try to keep your chest lifted off the floor. So there's a plank happening somewhere in your core here. Good. Start to open the hip out, perpendicular to your trunk. So just out towards the side here. Toes are pointing forward. Left hand can stay, and the right arm can come up. Now let's go for those rotations again. I call this a thread the needle variation because we are almost threading the needle right underneath the opposite armpit, and then we pull back. And so we make this like a little dance, scooping some air. Your hand does not have to touch the floor. Your arm doesn't have to touch the floor as it glides underneath. You're just pointing, seeing what's there. All right, let's finish out the last one. And then when you're ready here, we're going to take a little pause once more, coming back towards our tabletop position. Tuck the toes, get ready to lift towards downward facing dog. Lifting the pelvis off the ground. Shoulders are making some effort to press the ground away. You can bend your knees, you can pedal them out a little bit. And one more breath in this downward dog, showing all your power. And then bring yourself back towards tabletop. Take a cycle of your cat-cow. Good. Return to downward dog once more. And then walk towards a forward fold. That might be that your feet walk forward, but your hands can also walk back. Take a moment to let the head release. Maybe there's a couple of sways. When you're ready, we're going to lift halfway up. So we're going to take our hands somewhere around knees or thighs. Maybe there's a little bend in the knees. But we're trying to bring our neutral spine here. So just lengthening, feeling now that the crown of the head is reaching the space in front of us rather than the ceiling. One more breath here, nice and strong. Start to feel that your hands are no longer holding on to your legs, and we can come out to a T shape, a little airplane mode. Good. One more breath, and then we do a reverse swan dive. The slowest reverse swan dive, lifting up. Maybe a slight upward back bend, finding your hands. And then your hands can come to heart center. Full breath in, release. Notice what it's like from this perspective of grounding your feet, of letting the crown reach higher towards the ceiling. And the fingertips also wanting to root downward. Notice your breath here, how your energy has danced and moved so far. Let's do one last dance before we seal our practice. A half sun salutation. Let's start by lifting the arms up, greeting the sky with our hearts. And as you bow, or as you exhale perhaps, you can bow, release your head. Lift up halfway, very similar to that half forward fold that we just did. And then release your bow again. Come back to that half forward fold, but start to bring your wings out. A very slow reverse swan dive, lifting up. Hands to the heart. Full breath. And let it go. Beautiful. Before we continue, a side bend here. Right hand is going to take a little hold of the left wrist, just to invite it to a slight side bend. Opposite side, just invite a little shift. So I'm not yanking or pulling, I'm just inviting a slight hold. And it's just an invitation. We're not really yanking or pulling anything. Back to center here. Good. Our last flow. Lift the arms up, open the heart. Fold over the legs. This time look forward a little bit. And then as you start to lower down, you're going to walk your hands either towards downward facing dog or tabletop position again. Pedal out the knees. Slowly bring the knees back down. And let's take a little moment to bring the sits bones back to the floor. It does not have to be on your supporting blanket, but just taking a little wide leg seat here. Good. If you've got yoga blocks, this might be a great place to use them as a little support for a forward fold, but you can also just use your fingertips. First, we'll just let the legs get comfortable here, letting the feet do some rolls. And this just kind of introduces the tissue of the lower limb to start to adapt to what it's like to just be a nice straight leg, so that as we start to hinge forward, we're going to start to feel the tension perhaps around. Tension is not bad. Tension is good in these cases because that's the tissue that's holding us together. We don't want flimsy tissue. We need good tension. So this is the good tension we're looking for. It's that sense of stretch that you might feel through the back of the legs here. You'll use that information to decide how much further you'd like to walk your hands forward. This is a great place to stay. You might even be a little further back, but slight hinge, feeling the roll through the inner thighs. You want to fold a little bit more, or if you'd like your head to bow, your spine can then become a part of this. If we initiate with the hips, that's fine. Then your spine, if it wants to round and extend and do any little thing here, maybe even walking towards one leg and then the other. Take your time. Slowly bring yourself back, stacking your spine tall, and rebend your knees, tucking and coming back to a cross-legged seat. Now, an option here is to take one more forward fold. You might notice that because we brought the hips in, we put the legs back in a different position, As you start crawling forward, that stretch sensation might travel somewhere else. See how that feels. Doesn't have to be very far. And again, if you'd like to take a couple of little walks, little twists in the spine as you bend, that's fine. Let's take a last breath here so that we can come back to a moment of reflection, a moment to digest the movement that we've created, preparing us to take it through the day. As you sit up nice and tall, your eyes might close. Come back to your breath again. In and out through the nose. If there is a release through the lips, that's fine. I invite you to place one hand over your belly and the other hand over your heart. Feel the warmth of your hands upon you and allow each exhale to be like a hug that you are expressing with yourself. The same way that you would look at a friend or someone you love. You turn those kind eyes towards yourself in this moment. And perhaps remind yourself some of the great things that you are, some of the great things that you do. I invite you to set an intention for your day, perhaps for your week. Seal it into your heart and mind. And with 3 breaths, let's seal our practice together. Your hands can stay as they are, or they can come together in Anjali Mudra. Breath in through the nose. And full breath out. Full breath in. Cleansing breath out. Final breath. And as you exhale, perhaps bow to your space, your practice, recognizing the power within your breath. It is with you wherever you are. May you also remind yourself that you are your own best teacher. I thank you for sharing your space, your energy with me today. Your reminder of gratitude is to be grateful for who you are, all right? Thank you for being here. Day 9 of our 21 Days of Gratitude Initiative. I wish you all a wonderful day and an even more wonderful week. See you later.